Hello. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the owner and co-founder of Dressing Room 8, a coaching and consulting business for women entrepreneurs and women creatives. That's my primary focus for the people that I work with, the people I coach, the people I consult. But generally, I wanted to start a business that was all about empowering people through the utilization of entrepreneurship or positive mindset techniques and just kind of being as innovative and creative as you want in your life, because I thoroughly enjoy living my life this way, and I've seen the benefits for the people that I work with, and I help expand their creativity and innovation in their business or in their lives. And it's been a remarkable journey. Dressing Room 8 started about 3 years ago, and if you're not familiar with my platform, go to dressingroom8.com and you can learn all about the content that I put out, some of the things that I truly believe in as a coach, as well as some of the things and events that I'm involved in. I have a very, very busy, hectic schedule, and I'd love for you to join me on this ride. And today, what brings us here together in this moment, thank you for tuning in live, or if you're watching this on the replay, awesome. I really appreciate your time, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. How to stop wasting time. I think that it's a dangerous proposition for anyone who has goals and dreams to not use their time appropriately. Why? Because I was mentioning before, we are here for a minute, a blink of an eye, right? The human being does not last for very, very long compared to some of the buildings that will outlive us, some of the infrastructure, things that have existed long before humans came, long before humans will be after, right? So for our lives, our limited stays here, right? How are we using our time? Are we using it appropriately? And if not, what the heck, right? Why can't we do better? So we can, but it's a matter of really sitting down and being very meticulous about what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're thinking, and who we're doing all this with. So if you're familiar with this article, I came across on timemanagementninja.com. Hilarious URL. That's awesome. So I'll repeat that, timemanagementninja.com. And there's an article that's entitled 29 Ways You're Wasting Time Today. So I'm not going to go through all 29 reasons or ways that you could be wasting your time right now. I'm going to probably just stick to about 12, and we'll see if we get through all of that, because again, time is valuable. This is a 30-minute real talk lunchtime chat. And if you want anything beyond this, you just got to let me know, and I'm happy to jump on here and do continuation series of content that I put out. But let's get into it. Number one thing I think people do across many demographics is what? Complain. Complaining is a huge waste of time, right? Because it's not fixing the problem. It's bringing awareness to it. But if you're a fan of The Secret, if you're a fan of the law of attraction, as you know, if you constantly affirm something that you don't want, something that you're not pleased with, all you're doing is telling the universe to bring more of it to you. So complaining is probably one of the worst things that you can do in your life. It's unbecoming of you as a human being, and it's literally creating more scenarios in your life that you don't want. So it's a very dangerous thing, much less just a waste of time. Next, gossiping. Stay in your lane, boo, right? I think some of the saddest conversations I hear is about, oh, did you hear she did this and he did this? Listen, I'm all for news reporting. I'm all for understanding kind of what's going on in our communities, in our world, but literally just shit talking and, throwing shade at people, waste of time. Why don't you stay in your lane? Focus on what you need to do. There's a book by Dan Norris called Create or Hate. If you are a person who's out here trying to create, you don't have time to be gossiping. That's what a hater does. Don't be a hater. Next, hanging out with negative people. Again, right back to the law of attraction. If you continue to do things or say things or be around people that you don't want and or are not healthy for you, are not beneficial to you, all you're doing is recreating more scenarios to invite that in your life. Negative people have negative thoughts, have negative feelings, have negative influence. If you continue to spend time with those people, you're not only wasting time, but you're preventing positive events, positive people, positive things to come into your life. So super duper waste of time. Next, procrastination. get your life. You better get your life, because you either want to do something or you don't want to do something. And there's various reasons why people procrastinate. I get it. We don't, quote unquote, have enough time. But again, that's a bullshit answer. Why? Because when you want to do something, you find time to do it. So procrastination really is kind of a symptom of you not prioritizing your time, you not dedicating time to what needs to be done versus what can be done. Right? If you have 5 things you need to do every day, then frickin' do them, right? But don't say I need to do it and then you keep delaying it for 3 weeks. Bullshit. Plan it, stick to your word, and do it. We don't waste time. Next, indecision. Huge waste of time, right? The most successful people in this world are not like, should I do this? Should I not do this? You do your due diligence. You look up reasons, you create a pro-con list, right? And you decide if you're going to do something or not. But you don't waste time. Indecision is wasteful and purposeless. Don't do it. Next, antagonizing others. This is similar to the gossiping. If you're not cool with the crew, if you're not cool with people, then don't spend time with them. You antagonizing them is what? It's going to lead to most likely a negative outcome, a negative interaction. Is that not a waste of time? Yes. There's nothing positive that's going to come out of it. Most likely you can just hurt yourself or the people around you, or even bigger, right? The outcome possibilities are endless. Stop the bullshit. Don't waste time. Stop doing this. Making empty promises. Ooh, this is a good one. Too many people I know. Oh, girl, I have this for you. Oh, I'll send you this. Oh, Keep your empty promises to yourself, right? It's better to live a life with proof through action. Action speaks louder than words. That is something that most people hear, at least in America. From a very young age, right? So instead of telling people all the things you're going to do, how about you just do them? How about you stop wasting time communicating about all your plans and just go out and do them? How about that, right? I like those apples a little bit more than I'm going to talk about all the things I'm doing. Close your mouth, put your head down, work hard, live your truth through action. Next, not putting things away. Huge. I work with a client of mine, Style For It, on styleforit.com. I did a content about the power of decluttering. Guys, we have limited space typically, unless you are, incredibly wealthy, where you would say you don't even have limited space. But even the wealthiest people in our lives, they don't own everything, right? They don't have everything. So in theory, we all have limited space in some way or form, right? Put things away, stay organized, have clarity in your mind, have clarity in your home, have clarity in your offices, have clarity in your life. It's easier to think, to move, to breathe, to feel a sense of relaxation and calmness when things are put away, when things are in the rightful place that they need to be. If they're not, you're cluttering your mind, you're cluttering your space, and you're creating problems for yourself, which is ... wasting time. See where I went with that? Exactly. Next, fighting with others, similar to antagonizing. Take a chill pill, right? Like, if you have discord with someone, fine. Be civil about it. Try to essentially address it in the most professional and the most cordial way that you can. And if you can't, then walk away from the situation. But fighting with others is a waste of time. It can lead to criminal infractions. It can lead to civil issues. It can lead to a whole bunch of issues. Stop the bullshit, right? Get out of the situation. Stop wasting your time. Life, kind of rise above that crap, okay? Next, piling instead of filing. We talked about this. You can't have clarity if you have piles of crap all over your life, in your house, in your car, in your office. It's nonsense. It's a waste of time. You're not going to be able to think clear. You're not going to be able to find the resources that you need to make the proper decisions that you need to do to move forward in your life. Next, not looking at your to-do list. Again, if you have dreams, if you have goals and you refuse to have some type of systematic way to address these goals, oh, I want to be an author. Cool. Well, are you writing every day? Are you writing every week? Are you, what are you doing to achieve your dreams? If you don't have a sense of organization, any to-do list, then how are your goals getting accomplished? They're not going to, right? So that's not rocket science. That's just simple facts of life. So get with it and get on that success train and look at your to-do list. Create a to-do list every single day. I have a to-do list in my Google Calendar. I have a handwritten to-do list because I'm old school, as my husband likes to say. I'm like from another century. I love, look, my favorite like Papermate Inkjoy pen. This is like my favorite pen. Love to write in it, write in my journal. Like, writing is good for you. But if you're like digital queen or mister, go ahead with your bad self, write on your phone. But the point is, have a to-do list, look at it every single day, check things off. Doesn't do you any good to look at a checklist and never be checking things off. Get your life and do what you need to do. And then lastly, another point I wanted to mention, which I thought was a super clever thing on this list from timemanagementninja.com. Last one was solving the same problems again and again. Think about that, guys, right? If you had a problem and you solved it, then why are we back here again solving the same problem? We're not, right? You're kind of placating. Maybe you're putting a Band-Aid and you really need stitches, right? Like, we're not really addressing the underlying issue. And that would be ... a waste of time. You have time to solve something and move forward. You do not have time to continue to circle around the water hole and continue to solve the same problem over and over again. Cut the bullshit. If it's people that need to be addressed in your life, address the people. If it's certain systems in place that need to be addressed, address the systems. But do not proceed to keep solving the same problem over and over again, pretending like you're having any type of forward traction in your life. You're absolutely not. So I hope that that was like eye-opening as well as reassuring for many of you who are watching this again on the live or on the replay, because again, I think this applies to all of us. I could not sit here in my rightful truth and tell you I've never done any of those things. Of course we've antagonized our partners. Of course we have, maybe gotten into an argument intentionally. Of course we've procrastinated. Of course, right? We've done a lot of these things, and you might be in the middle of doing one of those or multiple things right now, right? But it doesn't mean that just because we're doing that this moment, we can't be better 1 hour from now, that we can't be better tomorrow, that we can't continue for the next 30 days and break these bad habits, right? So if you're willing to make the change, then I think you're willing to have the transformation in your life, and then you're willing to stop wasting time, which is what we're here to talk about. So some thoughts that I wanted to add to the conversation before we get to words of wisdom, because again, want to be mindful and respectful of your time. I appreciate you tuning in for some lunchtime chat. And if you have questions, comments, thoughts, please do put them in the comments so that we can talk about some of the things that I'm talking about as well. But I think another thing I would add to the how to stop wasting time conversation, I have 8 things additional that I personally, or dressing roommate rather, would like to add to the conversation. 1, doubting yourself. I think that's a really huge waste of time, because when you doubt yourself, similar to the, the kind of not necessarily trusting your gut, it creates scenarios in your life where you're not going to be as decisive as you could be. You're not going to be as confident as you could be. And it is going to invite certain circumstances in your life that you may not want. It can also attract certain people that are going to see that energy and maybe take advantage of you, maybe pick up on that and disrespect you or mistreat you, right? It creates a host of issues. So be very mindful about being very firm about who you are, what you stand for, and why you're doing what you're doing. Does it mean that you're immovable, that you can't change your opinion? Of course not. I'm not saying that at all. You're not Yoda. You don't know everything, right? You might need to change your mind. You might need to change a change of action. You might need to stop whatever you're doing. But the point is, have some type of confidence and presence with yourself, right? And if you do decide to change your mind, change it confidently. Change it knowing why you're changing your mind and why you clearly have a new reasoning supporting your new decision or your new approach to things, right? But stop just doubting yourself, even if you think you have the right decision or the right motive to go forward. It's creating a lot of uninvited circumstance and people in your life that are going to create more problems for you, and ultimately it's going to waste more time. Next, doing what you don't want to do. I've done a couple of put out a couple of content about this whole power of embracing no. Too many people say yes when they want to say no. Too many people are doing things they don't want to do. And it creates what? It creates situations of regret. It creates bitterness, myself included. There's a lot of, even recently, I would say I've had to really sit down with myself and say, okay, I'm never doing this again. Because even if you feel like you're supposed to do something, right? This expectation, whether it's family related, whether it's relationship related, business, personal, whatever the category for which it falls within. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Because when you do it and you don't want to do it, right? When your intention and your action is not meeting together in the middle of the road, then it's going to create an outcome that you probably don't like. You're going to do something and have a nasty attitude about it. You're going to do something and regret the outcome of it. You're going to do something and it's going to put you in a negative light because you're out there, you know, kind of sourpuss, as my Jamaican family would say, right? Or you have your skin up your face and you're mad and you're angry. And I cannot hide my emotions. I definitely have the facial drama situation where you'd be like, ooh, Natasha, what happened to you? You mad as hell. Yes, I am, right? So hold back the issues. Why have the facial drama? Why have the issues, right? Ultimately, say yes when you want to say yes. Say no when you want to say no. Don't double step. Don't go back on your word. You've got to commit to your reasoning because there's a reason why you want to do something. There's a reason why you don't want to do something. Don't confuse those two categories. They're very distinctive and very different. Next, living your life on other people's terms. If you're doing this currently, that's okay. That's okay, but you've got to acknowledge this, right? Because the only way to fix something is to acknowledge what is at issue. If you're not living your life on your own terms, then you are most likely wasting time because you're making decisions and you're getting involved in things and you're doing things that maybe are not in line with what you truly want. And see how that could be very easy and how you not only waste time, but you could waste money. You could get involved with something that creates bigger issues for yourself, right? There's so many different scenarios that we could talk about that come just from that. So please, every day, wake up. Am I going to live my life on my terms? Am I going to have a day that I want to have? Right? I think the symptom of society of where we wake up and we feel like we're living the life that society has imparted onto us is bullshit. You decided to have that job. You decided to have that career. You decided to have that family. You decided to be in whatever relationship you're in. You decided to wear what you decided to wear today, right? Like, stop acting as if life is happening to you, as Tony Robbins has told us and taught us. It's happening for you. Own your decisions, own the life that you're living, and maybe then you have a really good chance of cutting the bullshit and stop wasting time. Next, living with fear. Oh my God, guys, who has something to fear right now? Like, I'd love to just have a side chat about that. Fear is so dangerous. Like, even just fictionally, I just finished, like I said, The Big Little Lies for the Dressing Your Mate book club. Some of the issues with these characters in the book, and that's just like fictional, right? We're not even talking about real life, but like just from a fictional perspective, you could see how dramatic storylines come out of basing life stories on characters living with fear. Now go to reality. How many things have happened in your life because you had fear? You had a fear of rejection. You had a fear of love. You had a fear of success. You had a fear, so many different things, right? So fearless living is not going to be easy. I would never suggest that it is, but the alternative is super duper dangerous. The alternative is not going to get you what you want, so we have to abandon it. We have to abandon the path of fear because it's not helping. You know, it'd be one thing if people, like when people say, oh, you know, I'm afraid to do this, that, and the other. And if they stuck with that and they were more successful because of it, then fine, right? But it's not. You can look at every single successful person. The biggest thing that they usually purport to is the fact that they took a risk, they took a chance, they gave all in. They did not sit and say, oh, I was super successful because I lived with fear in every moment, right? Like, no, not really. They had to overcome fear to become the celebrity duper ooper loves of our lives, right? So get with it and recognize your fears. Write a list, right? Write a list. What do you fear? What do you fear today? Right? What are the biggest fears you're dealing with today? And how can we conquer them? How can we challenge these fears that live in our mind? Because the thing is, they live in our mind. They're not realities. They're not people, right? It's like your fear of bugs isn't manifesting as a giant bug that walks by you, right? Like, and that would be a horror story. But really, it's in our head, right? And that's just like one example. Obviously, you know, you have other types of like categorically larger fears that people are dealing with. Fear of love, fear of loss, fear of abandonment, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of shame, fear, right? Like so many different fears that people live with. So how can we break through? We have to identify first. All right. Next, refusing to try new things, refusing to have a new attitude. This is a really huge way of wasting time, because why? If you refuse to try new things, and sorry for the camera adjustment issues. Let me just like work on that for a minute. Okay. If you refuse to work on having new attitudes, if you refuse to embrace new things in your life, then you're going to waste time, because what? You're going to stick to things like worry. You're going to stick to things like fear. These are old habits that most of us have implored over and over and over and over again in our lives. So unless you're willing to change, then that means you're going to stay stuck in the mud. It means you're going to stay with the old cycle of what's comfortable, of what you know. But just because it's comfortable, just because you know it, does not make it right. Just because everyone around you is doing something does not make it right. It means you have the wrong circle of people around you. That's what that means. You've got to elevate, right? I love the new Ciara song, Level Up. Level up your attitude. Level up the life you're living. Level up your friends, guys. You got to take it to the next level, because comfortability is not where you go to the next level. Comfortability is how you stay stuck and stagnant. And again, this is not revolutionary. This is what I'm sharing is not something that is unfathomable for you to arrive at in your own mind, right? But what I think people need to do is they need to hear it as much as possible. As much crap as we hear in media, I hope that you can listen to this and you can call yourself on your own bullshit. And you can say, you know what? She's right. I didn't want to hear her. She's pissing me off. Whatever. But she's right. Right? Like, get angry with me. That's fine. But the point is, confront the bullshit that you're dealing with in your life, because that's how you have change. That is how you have transformation. And that's all that I ask. I ask for people to have, if you want it, then follow along in the journey, join me, participate, and make the changes necessary. Whether it's for changing your lifestyle, whether it's changing your nutrition, whether it's changing your family style, whether it's changing your business, changing your career, right? But make the transformation. But how do we do this? We have to eliminate things like wasting time, like fear, like bullshit people in our life, right? Like all of those things are a part of that formula that we have to kind of craft for ourselves to be our most successful versions of ourselves. Next, I talked a little bit already about this. Lacking confidence comes down to this simple phrase that I like to tell people, and I coach with the people that I coach. If you refuse to take yourself seriously, you can never expect anyone else to. It's real simple, like real simple. Confidence is about how you speak, how you present yourself, and the energy that you give off, that you emit. When someone knows that you're walking into the room, they should never doubt for a second that you don't think you're the bomb, right? Like that you are not the most important, powerful person in your mind, right? Because if you're not, it becomes immediately clear whether you're walking into a room for an interview, for a new job, or you're walking to meet the next love of your life. If you refuse to walk with a sense of high self-esteem and confidence, you're the baddest person in the room. The person in front of you, the people in front of you know this, and they will act accordingly. So people who like to take advantage of not confident and insecure people will do so. People who like to abuse those types of people will do so. People who like to challenge those people will do so. But you have got to stand your ground. That is how you prevent wasted time. That is how you prevent unnecessary events and really irrelevant people in your life. All right. Next, not learning enough. And I say this because the nerd in me wants to. I just like dead ass with you. I was that A student in your class, you'd have been like, this chick. But guess what? It has served me well. It has served me more than a lot of other things in my life. My complete, undying, insatiable desire to learn, to read, to grow. My life motto, if you're not familiar with Dressing Your Roommate and my platform, meet someone new and learn something new every single day. I accomplish this because I wake up and I journal. I wake up and I read meditations. I wake up and I read quotes. I'm constantly blogging. I'm constantly creating content. I'm constantly interviewing people. I'm constantly meeting someone new and learning something new every single day. That is how I'm preventing wasted time, because I'm trying to evolve and level up. I could not ask you to do the same if I refuse to do the same for me. We are not Yoda. No one is Yoda. Yoda is a character, a fictional character. So no one will be all-knowing in this world. No one will know everything and elevate and just kind of be a Zen kind of floating green person in the sky, right? It's not happening. But it doesn't mean that we can't strive to level up and try to be the best version of ourselves, so that when we get into, and if we're lucky enough, right, it's a privilege and an honor to live into your old age. It's not guaranteed for everyone, right? How many people do we love who have gone, as we like to say, too young, right? So if you end up being a lucky person who's in their 80s, 90s, hundreds, right? What an honor, and what type of wisdom that person could have achieved in their life. Could have, not guaranteed, but could have, right? They needed to learn, evolve, and grow as individuals, so that their time here was valuable and filled with meeting new people, learning new things, applying it, and moving forward, right? And then lastly, and this is kind of, I think, a premise of just what my business is based around, which is innovation, thinking outside of the box. If you don't want to waste time, then you've got to be willing to see new approaches, right? As well as thinking outside of the box as to how do we do things. Not being so afraid to say, well, I've only done something this way, so it can only be done this way. This is something that really personally even applies to me, because I am a creature of habit. I love to, if I've driven somewhere, I love to just drive that same way. Me and my husband will get into arguments about it. Like, I'll say, no, right? But it's not right. Again, just because something's comfortable, just because you know it, just because you've done something 100 times, doesn't mean that you couldn't do it better, right? Think outside of the box, right? Make this a resolution that you can try to apply for the rest of this year, and see what type of transformation happens in your life, and see what type of utilization of time that comes into your life instead of the wasting time. All right. So we have a couple of minutes left, so I'm just going to go quickly. And again, just fixing that. Words of wisdom. I think people really love quotes, because I think that it's really a really good short way, a snippet of like a nugget of information to just kind of get to you, and you're just like, ooh, like it just feeds your heart, it feeds your mind, it feeds your soul. It's just yummy. So, but again, that's the nerd in me. And if you disagree, you could let me know. When you spend time worrying, you're simply using your imagination to create things you don't want. Shannon L. Alder. Again, wasted time is wasted time. If you want to do it, that's just kind of, you're creating situations in your life that you don't want, and you're attracting people in your life that you really don't want. So think about that the next time you waste time. Next, if you are not doing what you love, you are wasting your time. Billy Joel. Life happens in a minute. If you're not spending that entire minute focusing on what you love and doing what you love every single day, you are wasting time in your life. And it's really unfortunate. And if you happen to be a parent, all you're doing is you're teaching your children how to continue the cycle of wasting time and bullshit, essentially. Don't do it. Be better, think better, live better. Next, a man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. Charles Robert Darwin. Listen, whether it's a second, an hour, a day, a week, a month, wasted time is crucial. And it's time you can't get back. Why? Time is the most valuable asset you have. You can make more money, you can make more friends, you can make more businesses, but once you spend time, you never get it back. So it's the most valuable asset you have in your life. Spend it wisely. Then the next quote, and I really like this, there's no good way to waste your time. Wasting time is just wasting time. I'll repeat that. There's no good way to waste your time. Wasting time is just wasting time. Helen Mirren. So what is she saying there? You can't say, well, this was a good use of wasted time, right? That like doesn't compute, doesn't make sense. You've wasted time and you've wasted time. There's no good waste of time versus bad waste of time. You just wasted time. All right. So with that, I think we are up to our time. So what's next? The next time that you have felt that you've wasted time, I'd like for you to come back and rewatch this video as a reminder to you that you are worthy enough of living a life without wasting time. I'm happy to have this be your message, this mantra for you to not do this again, because time is the most valuable asset you have in your life. Don't waste it, ever, ever. Whether it's 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. Don't waste your time. Next, if you want to get in touch with me, where do you find me? dressingroom8.com. At the end of this, I'll put that in the comments so you have that. You can schedule time to speak with me. You can learn more about the content that I'm putting out here and I'm sharing with you. Again, if you're a woman entrepreneur, if you're a woman creative, come into my world. Let's chat. I'm here to provide the innovation that you're looking for in your career, in your business, right? If you're interested in coaching, holler at your girl. If you're interested in just having conversation, in meeting a new person, in talking about things that are important to you, I'm here for you. I'm always interested in having a conversation with someone, right? So just let me know. And then also, you might say, well, Tasha, I really enjoyed this. I want to see your next program. Well, you know where you go to, dressingroom8.com, okay? So I'll put that in actually just right now so that you have that. Visit dressingroom8.com, okay? And you can get in touch with me. You can schedule a time to speak with me. You can learn about my content. And most importantly, you can check out my schedule. So I do in-person events and I do a lot of online content like this, all about the Facebook Live. Me and Facebook go back. How you doing, Zach? Zuckerberg, you know, I'm all about that. And then with that as well, if you want to have a conversation, if you want to challenge, if you want to debate, whatever. But the point is, let's talk. And that's the best place to reach me. And then lastly, I appreciate you spending your time watching this on the live or watching this on the replay. And if you have questions and you feel like putting them in here, that's not a problem. Go ahead and do that. And I will obviously get notified and then I can comment and respond. But all I ask is that you spend your time wisely. You recognize when you're wasting time, cut the bullshit, whatever, if it's behavior, if it's institutions, systems, people, environments, make the change so that you can have the life that you want because you're worthy of it and you deserve it. And there's no need for this, right? There's no need to waste your time. It's too valuable and it's too precious to do so. So I hope with that, you see the urgency of change needed so you can avoid wasting your time. And then also, I hope to see you soon. All right. So thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.